The woman only went for a swim, yet a month later she found out she was pregnant. This stunned her since she had been single for 10 years. The doctor explained that pregnancy was possible if there had been contact with fluid. A month earlier the CEO had been diagnosed with low fertility and told he could never have a child. He couldn't accept it and angrily dumped the tested sperm into the pool. At that exact moment the woman happened to be swimming in it. That's how she ended up pregnant without knowing why. 6 years later the man's father met a little boy at the hospital. He immediately decided the boy had to be his grandson. The boy looked exactly like his son did as a child. Seeing the boy, the grandfather, who could barely walk, suddenly stood up. He grabbed the boy and shouted that he was his grandson. Then he handed the boy a business card. He told him to come find him if he ever needed help. He also pulled out a strand of the boy's hair when no one was looking. A DNA test confirmed the child was truly his grandson. The old man jumped out of his wheelchair again. The butler kept shouting that it was a miracle. The grandfather kept yelling that he finally had a grandson. But the butler said even if the boy looked like his son, he couldn't just claim every child he saw as a grandson. This was already the 6th child he had claimed that year. The grandfather insisted this time the boy was really his grandson, but he got overly excited and his blood pressure spiked. When they returned to the hospital the grandfather suddenly heard the boy calling for his grandpa. It turned out the boy's maternal grandfather had also been rushed to the hospital. In the ward the old man told his son that the boy from yesterday was his child. He urged him to send someone to bring the boy back, but the man thought his father was just obsessed with wanting a grandson. Still, to keep him happy he sent people to search the city for the boy. Meanwhile the boy was feeding his sick grandfather. The boy gently told him he was already a little man and could protect him now. The grandfather in the next bed seemed to recognize the boy's voice. He jumped out of bed and pressed his ear to the floor to confirm. Hearing the boy crying he ignored the butler and his son and ran out to find his grandson. At that moment the boy and his grandfather were digging through trash cans for recyclables. Then the estranged grandmother's family showed up and pushed the already ill grandfather to the ground until he passed out. The woman's stepfather attacked her for having a child out of wedlock, saying she had disgraced the family. He even started hitting her. Seeing her dying father, the woman knelt before her mother and stepfather begging them to help him. The stepfather said he would help only if she married an old man in the village, but the condition was that she must give up her child. The woman refused without hesitation. During the struggle they began hitting both mother and daughter. Luckily the grandfather and the man arrived in time, but the CEO told the woman that his father might have dementia, and that's why he kept calling every child his grandson. Just then the doctor said her father needed $1.5 million for surgery. Hearing this the maternal grandfather insisted they should save the money for the boy's education. Then he vomited blood and fainted. The boy cried and knelt before the old man begging him to save his grandpa. He said he would work for him for life if he did. The grandfather was heartbroken and beat his son with his cane. He said it was his fault his grandson was suffering like this. The man said his father was getting more and more confused. He knew perfectly well he was infertile, and he didn't even know this woman. There was no way he could have fathered her child. He accused his father of being completely unreasonable. The old man was so furious he almost passed out. Then he revealed he had secretly run a DNA test on the boy long ago. Hearing this the CEO was completely shocked.